Hey guys, welcome back to the DeeTimeLove show. And today we've got the final episode, the final series of part 4 of the current state of my watch collection. And today we're going to take a closer look at my digital watches, some of my childhood watches, one of my heirloom pieces, and I'm also going to discuss some watches that I've bought on the higher end, on the luxury side, that are for sale and potential investment pieces for me as such, but they are for sale, and I'll discuss that at the end of the video. But before we get stuck into the video, let's do a quick wristwatch check. And today I'm sporting my Seiko Sportaro black iron plated watch. Very cool indeed, I have to say. I love it on this orange NATO, a fun everyday watch that I wear from time to time. Very cool indeed. But anyway, let's get the video started by looking at one of the watches that really got me into watches in general, and it is a watch, a pocket watch that I inherited. And let's take a closer look at this. And it was my grandfather who had exactly the same name as me, and this is a 9-carat gold watch, well, pocket watch from Tempo. And I have to say, it's one of the first times I really appreciated mechanical clocks, watches as such. And if you ever look at the archives, you could get a closer look at the actual movement. It's absolutely beautifully done. The actual chain on it is an aftermarket chain. I didn't put this on. I haven't. Maybe I should actually get an upgraded chain to suit this pocket clock. I don't use it or anything. It's just something that I have in the collection, I have to say, and it's absolutely stunning. I love the way it looks, and just makes you appreciate watchmaking at its finest. And in contrast to that, how watchmaking has evolved, especially in Japan, and Casio, come along and produce digital watches. But before I go into the selection of Casio watches that I have here, let's have a look at some of the childhood watches that I owned at a very early stage of my watch collecting life, as you call it, my watch collecting journey. And I was in the loft the other day, and I looked into a shoebox, and I found this watch by Timex, and it's the Atlantis 100, and I'm assuming this Timex is from the 90s, and I sort of recollect going into Argos, and I had about, I don't know, 25 bucks on me at the time. I never had much money back then when I was young. I heavily relied on pocket change from my parents, and I think I had about 25 bucks, and I went ahead and bought it because I loved going into school with a watch. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of the watches I had when I was at school were digital watches, and I absolutely loved them. I was a real gadget type person back then, and I didn't really have any appreciation for mechanical watches or anything like that. Although I did get given, for example, a Seiko 5 automatic by my uncle, and I remember when I first got the watch, I thought it was broken because it stopped working, because it was a mechanical watch. I wasn't really that impressed. And then I realised, I didn't realise, I had a look, and I could see there's got a movie. It explained to me how it worked, and I really did start generating my interest more in mechanical watches. I mean, Seiko 5 did really open it up for me, to be fair. But another watch that I found in that shoebox is, and I'm assuming, and I don't really remember much about this, to be honest with you, this Bulova Chicago Bulls watch. And I'm not really a big fan of Chicago Bulls or anything like that, but I do recollect that I was getting a lot of these types of watches. I had a Michigan, Detroit one as well. I had I think it was a Miami Dolphin one as well that I got for a Christmas gift. Very cool, and I've never worn it. It needs a new battery, but to my surprise, it is a Bulova watch, to be fair. So I'm assuming maybe Bulova was sponsoring the NBA or some sort back then, I would have thought. I don't even know what year this is, but it must be very old. It's got to be at least, I don't know, 15, 20 years plus in terms of age. But I just thought I'd share that with you guys today, just to mix things up as such. But let's have a look at the first watch that I have, my digital watch, and it is the Gshock G-Still Atomic watch, radio sync, tough solar, very cool. Not your typical Casio watch, it's your Gshock watch, 200 meters, water resistance, and generally a very nice looking Gshock, I have to say. Probably one of my favorite Gshocks they produce in terms of aesthetics and design and quality, is right up there, I have to say. I actually love the negative. So look at the way the light lights up. Very cool indeed, I have to say. I love this Gshock. Probably my favorite Gshock. I've had so many Gshocks over the years, not only just for the channel, but I'm quite a big fan of Gshocks, to be fair. I love how you can wear them, you can beat them up and so on. But this Gshock is a little bit more, how can I put it, a bit more versatile, I would say. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. You know, it's all still. You can actually probably get away wearing this with smart wear, I would say. Not with a suit, but even if you want to pop out in an evening and you want something smart, and sporty, it looks quite sexy, this Gshock, I have to say, still. It's got a nice look to it. It looks very strong. It's a solid watch. Bracelet is okay. The bracelet's nothing special. It's a lot better than what you get with your standard, Casio watches. It's probably on par with, your average Seiko bracelet, I would say. But in general, I am very impressed with this Gshock, and I do tend to wear it quite a bit. Now, up next, what have we got? We have the Casio Retro, an icon. This one very cool indeed. And there's alarm, chrono, electroluminescence, whatever that means. But it's quite a modern version of this watch. And look at the way the light lights up. Very cool indeed. Do I wear this? Not really. I must wear it every now and then. I got the missus one as well, and she tends to wear her one more than I wear mine. But, when she does wear it, maybe I'll wear it to match it up with her. Very sad, I know, indeed. But it's quite cool, cheap, it's a cheap watch, But, I think this gold one, this particular model, cost about £45. And, yeah, it's a cool watch. For £45, you can't really say no. Why wouldn't you have one in your collection? It's an iconic design, very cool indeed. And to my surprise, a lot of these hip-hop rappers wear them in their music videos. So I guess it makes it cool if they're wearing them, I take it. But not really for me. But anyway. But here we go. Here's a 80s classic, the Data Bank. This is a new version of the old school classic. But what can I say? It's an icon. Look at the way it slopes in design. Very unique, very retro, futuristic design for that time period, I have to say. And before even smartwatches were around, this was a very cool watch indeed. It was a schoolboy's favourite, I have to say. It's just to say that, look, my watch is a calculator. My watch has, phone, contact, data bank access, so you think you can put up to 30, 50, telephone numbers in there. It's got alarm and so on. It's got a 10-year battery, which is cool indeed. And let's have a look at the lights. Where's the light? Is that one? Yeah, the light's not as good as the Gshock and the other Casio Retros. Quite old school, but I'll tell you what, it does light up well, and it's just a cool watch. And I'll be honest with you, I probably have only worn this once or twice since the day I bought it. It's just something that I like to have in the collection, to reminisce when I had my old Casio calculator watch. It very much makes me reminisce the times when I was at school. But anyway, the next one is a very interesting one, and it'll probably make you guys laugh, to be fair. But one of my first ever handheld consoles was the original Game Boy, and a few years ago I had a party, dress up party, and I went as Mario, you know, part of Nintendo, you know, the computer game Mario Land, and I bought this watch to suit the outfit. I know, very sad indeed, but it is a gimmick type watch of the Game Boy console, and what will make you guys laugh even more, when you set the alarm on, it has the Mario theme tune to the computer game, which is pretty cool. It has got a light as well, which is pretty cool indeed. It's green. What can I say? It's very much a gimmick watch. I wore it once at a house party, a fancy dress party, I should say, and yeah, that pretty much sums up this watch. You know, it has no horological stance or anything in the watch world, but I just thought I'd share it with you guys to have a laugh, and you'll probably get a lot of abuse by having something like this in my collection. But I bought it for a fancy dress party, and I thought it was a lot of fun and suited my outfit. But you know, in general, these watches are very much, you know, what you could call beta watches, I have to say. Watches that are, you know, a lot of fun, cheap, things that you can replace very easily. And you know, the G-Shocks are very collectible as well, I have to say. You know, I went through a stage during my school life that I was a massive Casio fan, because I loved gadgets. They had the world time, they had all these cool features back then, and to be honest with you, with the budget that I had back then, Casio was the only thing I could afford, unfortunately. But you know, it's always good to have, you know, Casio are a good brand. They produce some excellent watches. Some of these new G-Shocks that are coming out have got a real premium behind them. I mean, this G-Shock is my main premium digital watch that really prevented me wearing any of my other sort of G-Shock watches I've had in the past. I've had the Tough Solar and I've had about 4 or 5 G-Shocks in the last 3-4 years, and I've always tended to give them away to my younger cousins, because I just don't wear them, and I just couldn't be bothered to sell them, and what's the point? You're not going to make any money on them. So I gave them away as gifts, because I thought that they're gifts to give away, you know, at the end of the day. Very robust, strong watches. I just love the G-Steel. Just look at that, the way it's been brushed in metal. Very cool indeed. I think they retail in the UK for about £350, and I think the MRG ones cost about £1,000 for some reason, but I think they must use some more rarer materials as such. But you know, I did mention that I was going to talk about some of the other watches that are well, they're not really part of my collection because they are on the market for sale. I've got a Rolex Yachtmaster chocolate dial rose gold two-tone, and we've also got the Patek Philippe Calatrava in white gold in Moonface. Cool watch. I'll leave a few images there for you guys to check out. I'm really debating whether I should keep the Rolex Yachtmaster. I just love that chocolate dial. Originally I bought it for myself, but then I decided to sell it on. I got a reasonable good price for it, believe it or not. It's absolutely brand spanking new, and if you want to know more information about any of those watches, just send me a quick message, and or send out more details to you guys. I'm working in partnership with a guy called Chirag Price, who he's got over 15 years in the watch industry, and we've started a few projects together. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for giving me the time to talk about my watch journey, my watch collections. You know, just to let you guys know, part 1 was my dive watch collection, part 2 was my chronograph collection, part 3 I believe was my dress watch collection, and today is my digital watch collection and a few childhood watches that I found recently, and my heirloom piece. And you know, we'll discuss today a little bit about my some of my watches that are for sale. And yeah, guys, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my content. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.